I need to remember, is it working? Yes. I think we're working. Ooh, I don't have chat. Where is chat? There we go. Ooh. Cool, cool. There's chat. Right. Onyx Lee, hello. Don't want to distract you. Oh, it's all right. I always get distracted when I do a live stream. don't, don't worry about that. It's going to happen no matter what. Moto Day. Hey, no sound. There was sound. I just wasn't talking, or at least there should be sound. If somebody can let me know. If not, somebody will tell me off in a minute. Neil McCann, hello. Good to see you, man. Feels like it's been a while. Problem is, I can never remember what I've done. Right. So I've got a couple of things I need to fix. I made some changes off stream to this. So I need to fix some stuff. I broke a video, which then worked. And now it doesn't work. And you guys can't see the video because I'm running it through a scene. What is with my brain? Because I'm running it through a stereo layer. That's what I was trying to think of, which means you guys can't see it. However, I'm going to restart this because it should let me play the video then. Move that to the other screen. Cool. Onyx, hey, it's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well, man. Right, there we go. Stream, splash screen, save selected. Let me double check that's working. Yeah, so you guys can't see it, but what's happening is if I do MetaQuest Develop Hub. So if you're new to like Unreal in mobile development, what I'm doing is I'm using a stereo layer, which allows me to render things on a different layer away from what's a good example? Away from A, so anti-aliasing. So when I press play, I don't get any anti-aliasing on the object that's being rendered to the screen. So it's really good for UMG and text. I'm also using it for the splash screen. The problem is it doesn't get to be displayed onto the PC. So because I'm targeting mobile anyway, it should be fine. So I'm going to do exactly what Neil's just said and mirror my headset using the cast to then set it through the headset or the PC, and then you guys should be able to see what I see as well. There we go. Device manager. So if I do cast, the only problem is casting affects performance on the headset. So it might be a little bit jittery on the stream. I'm not entirely sure. Cool. So if I move this there and then I do play in VR preview, you can see that we've got the splash screen. It's working. I need to fix the border so it stays black, and then it loads up and we can see it. And you can see like how much sharper the text is. But I broke my motion controllers, so only one hand shows up, and then the pointers are on the wrong one. What I've also done is, I think I've said this on stream before, but I'm dyslexic, and the one thing about playing VR games that really pisses me off is not having dyslexia-friendly fonts. So for mine, what I've done, it's hooked up to settings at the minute, but if I go to settings and I click it, it actually rewrites the whole project and loads it up with dyslexia-friendly font. Although it didn't change on that one. Changed in the top left, Didn't change that text. I changed the buttons. I haven't got it set up to change the main stuff. But you can see how it's changed all the buttons and that to dyslexia friendly, which was a bit of a pain. It was a bit of a challenge to set up, but I wanted it in there. So I just thought I'd show that off. I'm going to see if I can fix my splash screen logo first, and then we'll jump into seeing if I can fix the hands. Basically redesign them, try and be a little bit better for the blueprints. Because I was using the ones from the GDXR template, but I think basically I've overcomplicated the logic, so it's a bit crap. So the goal is to figure out how to improve it on here, and then I can add that update into the GDXR template as well. How did I do this? There we go. Awesome menu. I like the swipe effect when you go into the settings. Thank you. It's just an animation. All it is a oh, wrong one. Is a UMG animation that plays through. So I need to fix this corner here. Why is it? Why has it got a border? See, this is the problem, is I don't know enough about Premiere. I use it to edit my YouTube videos, and that's about it. So it's inverted, but we're still getting... What? Why have I got that? It doesn't have it on the side. This is where I ask one of you guys for help. Anybody know what's going on? You can delete the mask. The mask isn't the problem. So, well, it probably is the problem. If I delete the mask, how do I delete the mask? I watched a YouTube video to try and fix it. Mask, and then opacity. Oh, I got something in my mouth. It was that, and then invert. But I'm still getting the damn border. What's going on? God, I hate Premiere. What if I scale that past 100? That fixes it. And then now I just need to move. Oh, what is going on? Right, you. Nope. Shift that. What? Right there. And then I can put it about there. It also, when you hold shift, it doesn't really scroll in a straight line either. Let's put it about there. On top of the video. There. There. And then I wonder if I can make the corners bigger. So like round it off. No. Either way, that should have feather. I might have to move it down. This doesn't have to be perfect in any sense anyway. it was just because I'm using the stereo layer that it doesn't render the video behind the fade that I've got. So I had to make sure it was free. So if I do that, there we go. It pretty much works. And then make sure it goes to the very end so there's no dead frame. And then I should be able to export this out. Video files, sequence 124. Video 512, aspect more. What am I looking for? Bitrate, target bitrate is 2? Don't need it to be video, that's fine. I wonder what happens if I change it to 1. Looks a little bit worse, but it should be fast to load. Estimated file size under a meg. Cool. Let's try that. Whoa, what's happening in the chat? You can do the mask, click those mask tools. Alright, I've done that. Myself, I sadly don't have time to watch the stream. I just want to drop a quick thank you to the live stream you made about the spawn menu. Was a great help, and you cannot imagine how much it helped me. Awesome. I'm glad I was able to help. Never knew you could do animated splash screens and use the MetaXR plugin, right? So the splash screen functionality is built from scratch. No, I do not use the MetaXR plugin. Not yet, anyway. That's not installed. Or as a part of a plugin live with Meta. No, I built this from scratch. So all it is a movie. So what I've got is when the game starts, there's a default splash screen that plays by Epic, and that's on the main screen, which loads in normally. And then what happens is it loads a level. The first level that loads is a splash screen level. And because we're in VR, we need that 3D element. So it spawns in, and then I've got a video. So it comes in as a video that is just placed in the scene, and then it loads an open source. So it loads the video player or the media player, and then it plays that instead. And instead of rendering to a plane with a media texture, because we don't need to double it up, it's now just running through a stereo layer, which is why it's only visible when you put the headset on. So it is a bit of a pain that if somebody's watching the screen, so watching the desktop screen, they're not going to see the main menu or any of the menus. But because I'm targeting mobile VR anyway, well, that is the main plan, then I don't have to worry about that. It's a pain in the ass for you guys because you can't see it. But if I do the screen share, then you can share it, you can see it as well. So it's all good. Or it should be good. Splash screen. Let's update the video. So if I go to movies, and then we can do media player. Don't know if you can still see it on the sides. I might have to scale it in. I think as well, it should only have the one video. Yeah, it's coming in as sequence 1, but that's fine. I can always rename it afterwards. So file source. Ooh. It's loading the old one. I didn't move it. Right. Sequence. Right. Rename. Logo. That's the new one. Place the video on the destination. Should be fine. This is probably going to say it's not working now. Oh, there we go. Cool. So that loads in. It's really small. So 1.5 kilobytes, 512. That should be fine. Running it through the stereo layer, which I might have to change the size of. I'm going to reset all of this back to 1 now. Stereo layer, 1. Media sound. Media sound doesn't need scale. That's fine. But then in the scene, it's going to be tiny. So I'm going to move it forward. And then what we can do is we can give it a test. It's not playing, which normally happens after I change the media source. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart the project, and that should fix the reference. That works. I'll leave you to it. Got it done and catch. No worries, Onyx. Neil, gotcha. I used media texture in the past, so you avoid this. I'm avoiding the media texture because I don't really need it in this case. If you're doing a 360 video sphere, then you would probably have a media texture. But because it's just a splash screen, I can render it directly to the stereo layer. I don't need the plane. It's going to still working on video playback / movies today. I'm going to make my own little video player using a double-sided material and media texture today. Cool. Cool. If you don't need 360 video, definitely look into the stereo layers because you get so much better quality. Like, it's insane how good the quality is when you run it through a stereo layer, and it works really well on the headset. It's pretty much one of the main things that I hate about like just Unreal in general is how it handles video. But as long as you keep the video, the bit rate small and the texture size small, you can normally get it to play pretty fast. We should. There we go. It looks pretty good. I just need to move it down. And then it waits a second, and then it loads the level. And then it uses the save file, so it automatically defaults to the dyslexia font. Let's move that there. Did anyone see a menu? Ooh, what happened? I could probably cut off a bit of time on that. Buttons are there. Why can't I see? That worked. So what? Yeah, that's fine. I wonder why it didn't work from loading the other level. Video complete. Loads in. Such an amazing idea having accessibility options built into your game. Awesome. Is the one thing that really like frustrates me about VR games is a lot of them deal with just text in some cases, or it's just a lot of text to handle, and nobody has a font change in it. It drives me mad. Like obviously it doesn't look the best, so you wouldn't want it as the default, which is why that I've got the main one, and then I've got the option to change it through a main setting. Event begin play. Set tick enabled when open. Widget event tick. Shouldn't be any pausing in this. I'm pretty sure it worked previously, so I don't know what I've done. The only thing I've done is removed the plane. I wonder if it's not loading because your sequencer is open in the other tab. No, it should be fine. There shouldn't be anything stopping it. it's not really related. It's just the splash screen. There's a bit of the end of the logo that I could cut off, to be fair. There we go. It's reading the dyslexia font, but it's just not doing it. The worst thing is, it's there because I'm getting the hit result. And you can see I can hit the button. The menu's there, it's just not rendering. I didn't want to focus on the menu. I wanted to fix the hands. What have I done? What did I do? Try delay. If I load the level, it works fine. I don't have anything in the level blueprint because I try my best not to use it. Main menu, persistent, save selected. Open level blueprint. I've only got the level streaming stuff. Blueprints. Main menu's in the blueprint level, which is fine. If I press play here, it loads in, but not from the splash screen. That's the problem. Something in the splash screen stopping it from loading. All we do is load through to here. Fahin Khan, hello. Welcome to the stream. There we go. So there's a 1 second delay causing an issue, which is strange. But now I can work on fixing my hands. And then I've got the dyslexic font. Cool. We'll be able to switch it around. So basically, Neil, I don't know what I did to fix it. I removed a delay node. So I don't know if it was just taking too long and then causing the problem, but I also added this one. So it might have been spawning too fast. Cool, splash screen. It's done with the splash screen. Video will do for now. Just a placeholder anyway. File size is pretty small. That should be okay. I need to make sure actually that the video is packaged with the project. Specific movies to copy. I'm going to try copying them. If I do that, it should be a bit better. Neil, yeah, I've had to add a delay in the past to make code execute properly. Player control before. Yeah, player control can be a pain. It's only because of the order of things loading in. It's like things loading in so fast that they come out of whack. And I think that's the main problem is when you set it up to wait for things. That's why in general it's quite bad to use delay nodes because they can just put everything so far out of whack. Working on something in Unity, I've recently become interested in Unreal Engine. Do Meta SDKs work in Unreal? Yes, yeah, yes. Why do Unity devs not think that? This is not towards you, saying, but yes, 100%. They fully work. So if you go to where is my link? Let's just go straight to here. So if you go to the Meta documentation page. It's literally in the drop down. It's below Unity. If you click that and then you go up to getting started, setting up your first project, configure MetaXR plugin, and then install a MetaXR plugin. You should go to here, and then you've got the downloads page. So this is the one you're looking for. It says Unity, but it's on the Unreal page. We can see here. There we go. Put it in the chat. And what you can do is you can download this, but make sure you're using the correct version of the MetaXR plugin for the version of Unreal Engine that you're using, which it's currently not out for 5.6 yet. So just keep that in mind. The latest version you can use is 5.5, but it's all there. It's all running. The only thing we don't have right now is the QR scene scanner thing that Unity has, which is, let me change it over. The camera, where is it? I never used the one in Unity. Where's the dock? What is it I'm looking for? Basically the camera tracking thing. They just don't have that. But hopefully it's on its way for 5.6, which will be really cool. But yes, pretty much anything you can do in Unity, you can do with Unreal. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Johnny, hello, welcome to the stream. Right. Splash screen, main menu. We've done the splash screen, so I can just go straight to the maps. Main menu. Persistent. And now I need to figure out how I royally screwed my main character from spawning hands. So hey, I've actually been following your channel for a while, but I haven't been able to join the live. Thanks. Thank you for the information. No worries. No worries at all. Right, this is what I did. Skeletal hand left, skeletal hand master. Skeletal hand right. Yes. Hopefully if I do this, we should have both hands, if I'm lucky. Yes, right. I was about to say it's really blurry, but it's just where the headset is. Right. The problem is, if I point at the right control and I press the left, then we can kind of use both. So I need to figure out the fix for that. And that's because I redesigned the setup. I'm also getting this, which is handled by the skin tone setup that I've got. Basically the only customization in the game. But the joy of using this is it shows you how slow development actually is. Or at least how slow I am. Alright, main menu. So the problem is the hands. Let's see if I can debug these, because I've rebuilt them. So we've got the skeletal hands master, and then we've got this one, which is the skin tone. The other two blueprints, hand left and hand right, are built from it. Now I've got that logic twice. Hand right. Hand left. We know the left hand works. What did I build in differently? Why is this one? Ooh, what have I done? I've confused myself. Parent class. BP skeletal hand underscore master. Skeletal hand left. Part of me wants to delete that, but part of me's got a feeling I'm going to screw something up. Wait, what? Skeletal hand left, and now skeletal hand right. What did I change? What have I done? I don't know. I'm going with it. Right, this one, and this is the right hand. So we've got that. Main master. We can bypass this because we're handling If I can handle this in here, then it's duplicated for both, and I don't have to worry about it in the child. So let's see if I can do this. Oh. Not working. Oh. I don't know if I need the option to control each hand color. Like if people want different skin tones on each hand, it's not like it's going to play a role in the project anyway. Um, Filter hand left, motion controller. Got this one. That will be Y. Left, left. I don't need it on begin play because that is handled from the parent class. Hopefully now, new game, that the left controller. Oh, they're not updating. They're not updating. Can't be a blueprint error. It's never a blueprint error. So this listens to the game instance. That is missing from there. So we've got that right hand, left hand, save. I think that's okay. When this is set, it should choose between left and right. Maybe if I do this instead. Wrong name. I think I've spelt those correct. Now it's not changing. Set vector parameter value called MPC. Let's go on hands with invalid parameter left hand skin tone. Slightly due to blueprint error. Would not surprise me. Moose. One thing I hate about developing for VR is having to put on the VR. Yeah, it does suck. There's some ways and like tools you can use to get past it, but I just haven't set them up. Skin color. That's why I thought I had a skin tone. Anybody else get it when you put the headset on? It makes your nose itch. Neil, wish you can use a simulator, but it's even more annoying. Yeah, yeah. For stuff like this, it's just so much faster. Just put it on and off. Right, doing it for both hands, which means one of them is getting the wrong one. So let's remove that event tick from there because we don't need it. And then we can see which one's firing. Left, right hand color. I wonder if it's, I think it might be this. Let's bypass this and see what happens. So that one just stops working completely. Why would it stop? Why do I keep forgetting the name of it? VR game instance, right? Go through, we spawn in, then this needs updating. That needs updating. Skin tone, left hand skin tone, right. Update hands and controllers. So that makes me think that I don't have update hands and controllers. Let's see this here whether it works a bit better. Question is, why is it doing it on not getting the other hand? So I think both of these, or it's doing it on, it's getting both, each one. This should update with a different tone. I am sweating. Room's so hot. Show game. Hey, Jason, it's been a while. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good. Or at least I'm trying to do good. Not doing too badly, at least. NPC hands. Let's see where we go. So, data table scan hands. This is firing twice. It seems to be firing on both. So, let's do print string. Equals right. Because I can remove that logic from here. That's fine. I also don't need that logic in here either, because the parent class is handling it. What I need to figure out is how this is switching, or if it actually is. String, let's put you in there. And then let's see whether it's changing that. Right, left, skin tone, okay. I've got a feeling this isn't going to do anything. Yeah, it does both. Wow. Okay. Doing it on both. Why would it be doing it on both? So the thing is, when I hit the button, it updates update hands and controls event, which it's listening to. At which point, it checks to see we've got the hand, and then it runs through and chooses skin color. Problem is the skin color is detected through the save game, so it already knows what we're going for. But there's two different ones. There's right and then there's left. The question is, where is the issue? This parameter sets it. Parameter name. I wonder if this is causing the problem. True, right. But we get different results. Trying to interact with an invisible menu. Does it twice? And you click once. Not too sure why it's doing it twice. This should be switching. It updates both hands. Select them. Problem is it's doing the same one. Let's try and debug this. Still happens twice. That's the right hand. Why is it doing it? What? do with this? Thing about me in the game development is made loading puzzles, so like a puzzle that you can solve in a way that can find satisfying. 100%. Absolutely love puzzles, and it's as close as you can get to not knowing what the fuck you're doing, but solving something good at the same time, which is really nice. Best solution possible is rewarding. Yeah, maybe simplifying it down to work efficiently with less blueprints. This code feels amazing. Yeah, honestly, optimizing stuff and refactoring code is really nice. I also believe that if you must have VR dev, then you can develop for everything. Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. Unreal VR dev in general, not just Unreal, is like jumping in the deep end. I think once you've got that down, normally pretty easy. Let's move that. So when we select the skin tone color, we should be able to see which hand we're selecting with, and we'll see what's firing. It seems to be going fine. Just, you know what? I'm going to game instance. This is left hand, right, left, right, roll. This might have been a case of where refactoring might have just been the wrong approach, like overcomplicating the code where it's just kind of unnecessary. Do that. That's going to the game instance. That's wrong. That's the correct one. Double check this. Also the wrong one. Update. Oh, I think I've got a hair or something on the top of this thing. Why are they both reading it? They're both reading the wrong one. They're reading the correct tone. These are both selecting left hand, right hand. wait there. Skeletal hand right, skeletal hand left. So the only thing I could think might be causing an issue uh, is the save game file. Let's see what happens with this. No, no. Bottom one's not working. Why would the bottom one not be working? I still need to know, Neil, I still need to work on my knowledge around parents or child classes, breaking up functionality, etc. I just like to drop everything into my main character, my character, BR character blueprint. I need to do better. You do need to do better. It's honestly, it's one of the best things you can do to like improve performance. Um, Let me take you to the weapon blueprint as an example. We'll kind of piggyback off that. Weapons, manual weapons. Here we go. So this is a parent class essentially now. So instead of having each blueprint as its own actor, essentially parent actor, it's now a parent class with the child actors for each weapon. So if I right click on the size map, the gun is essentially 3.2 megabytes as a parent class, and it only contains the bare minimum of what we need. However, being able to set that up so you can see if I jump in, it contains a lot of content. And then each one of these is a child class of the parent, and you can see how it's quite large. Disk size, memory size. I'll do memory size is a good one. Static mesh is in there, and then it contains everything else. However, the one thing people don't realize when it comes to parent classes is if you have a mesh loaded in, let's say in here, the actor shows that it has a mesh in there, but it doesn't. If I go to pistol body in here, and I load up the shotgun, and we say, okay, this is a parent class, we're using this as a reference to see if it's all lined up, then we hit compile, and we say, if I'll save all, you'll see that it updates all of them, and they now have a reference to this shotgun. So if I show size map now, you can see that even though this is that was a bad example, even though we've got the rifle, so we're on the rifle now, we go size map, we load this in, because it's a child class and we have that reference, visual reference of this shotgun static mesh, it's now loading that mesh and our rifle models at the same time. So this is something that people kind of get wrong when it comes to parent and child classes, is managing what's in the parent. I don't know where I was going with this conversation, but basically if you do a parent class and you want to create a child from it, make sure it's just empty, like absolutely empty. So I can clear this here, and then it's going to break that one. Let me see if I can just Control Z all the way through it. There we go. That should be okay now. If I compile. And then even though the mesh has been removed, it still shows up in the little viewport, but that's fine. But you can see that now we've removed it. We don't have the shotgun model in there anymore. And people seem to do that a lot, is put make parent classes, fill them full of models and particle effects and stuff like that, and then wonder why it's duplicating or like inflating in file size. It's because the parent class should be empty, and then the child class is where you have all your particles and meshes and stuff. And to make this as low as possible, I also have those async load in. So only when I pick up the gun does it load the particle effects and the actor meshes and stuff like that, which is required. Bit of a tangent. I don't know if it made any sense, but parent actors are cool. Just got to use them right. Where were we? We were trying to figure out this. So The moose, where that actually just gave me better insight on parent and child classes. Cool. Oh, I've got wait there. I'll have to dig through it, but I can show you the difference between updates. I'm gonna have to scroll for a bit. Wait there. I've either scrolled past it or I haven't scrolled far enough. Here we go. These were examples of when I did the refactoring for the GDXR template. So if I open this one up, we've got the VR character controller, which is what it was previously. So you can see that the VR character controller was loading in the Mannequin XR hands. So the left hand, my hand, and then textures. And then it was also loading in the change camera height, so the actor component for camera height, which then loaded in the VR game instance, and then loaded a static mesh screen fade, which was a plane with a world grid material applied to it. So you can see how the file sizes were going through it. And then by removing those classes from it, I reduced the file size down to 1.2 megs. So you can go from 13 megs to 1.2 megs, and that's what people don't realize. It's why in the GDXR template for the 5.5 update, I've gone through and I've split the hands out. So the way that it works now, motion controllers and hands, is the hands have their own parent class, which the player spawns in. So what happens is our game mode starts, it loads our game mode class, checks what our default pawn class is, and that default pawn class is VR base main menu. And then in here, what it does is it sets everything all up for the player. And this also loads in our character controller. No, it doesn't. That's done by the game mode as well. Ignore that bit. But basically, once the player spawns, then it spawns our hand actors. And those are set as owners and instigators of this player. So in the game, if I kill BP VR main menu character, it automatically destroys the hands, because the hands, not yet because I've redid them, has a override. So skeleton hand master. Oh, it does, because I've already reused what I had. Should be a parent class. Custom event. That's a weird one. I need to check my references. I think they're a bit broke because I've changed it around. But basically, by having parent classes and child classes, you can kind of stagger them, and they'll all work a lot nicer together and bring that file size down. So my player is 2.2 megabytes. And you see it loads VR base character. So if I follow this, character, should be its own one. Base character controller. No, that's right. Because this is a class, this is a child class of the blueprint class character. That's what it is. So this is my parent class, but it's technically a child class of character, which contains character controller by default. So this one here. So that's why I was getting confused here, because I wasn't expecting to see this. But it makes sense because it's the class. So I create this one, load from there, and then it doesn't spawn any hands until I tell it to. So it's really handy. It reduces the file size down quite a lot as well. It gives you so much control over it. I've also went through and split the skeletal hands to the motion controller. So if you switch between them in the GDXR template, let's say you don't want skeletal mesh hands, it will only load up the motion controller mesh. So size map 2.8 megabytes, instead of having both of them, which would then have 1.7 megabytes and then inflate. So that one file would be like 4 or 5 megabytes when you're only using one of the options. So doing the child parent classes and then making sure you split it up well is really handy. Like this is before on the player character, the character controller was 13.1 megabytes, and then after splitting them, it was 1.2 megabytes. So you can imagine how much faster that is to load when you start your game. Which one was this? VR game instance as well. So VR game instance was loading the screen fade mesh, which then had a plane and a world grid material. And then afterwards it was down to like 381 kilobytes, down from 5.7 megs. So it's definitely worth checking out, and it's a good thing to learn. Which one was this? This was the hand menu. So beforehand it was 10 megabytes, and then afterwards it was down to 5.2 megabytes. Yes, I've seen this implementation before and how the motion controls are spawned separately. Interesting. It's really good. Like the default VR template doesn't do that. It just has both of them in the main class, but it's really handy to know how to split that up. For example, if I open up, what's a good one? Let me open up this version of a project, which is just the default VR template. We can compare the file sizes and see what the difference is. I haven't actually done this. It could be smaller than mine. It's probably going to be smaller than mine, um, because I've added a lot to my character. But we can take a look. Uh, The problem is doing a tutorial on memory management is quite difficult as well because people are doing so many different things. And then people reference stuff in their blueprint interfaces as direct classes, which also causes memory issues. It's just like a whole inflation thing. It's why it's like when I do a client project, the first thing I normally do is check all the memory sizes of like assets, see what's linked to where, and normally it's a nightmare. So it can be handy to sort out and learn that element of things. Let's do this comparison. Hopefully it works in my favor. I don't think it will. Wait, what? What you were done? Come on. While this does its thing, I'm gonna go get a drink because I am absolutely sweating. Wait, I'm gonna leave my headphones in here. Open my other window. Cool. So where were we? Talking about file sizes. We can use the player as a example. So in the default VR template, if we open up the pawn, you'll see that what it does is it loads the motion controller and then the right hand skeleton mesh and the left hand skeleton mesh. So if you go to size map, you'll see that the default size of the VR mannequin in the Unreal Engine template is 147 megabytes on the disk. Memory size is down to 60, but that's still 60 megabytes that needs to be used up when you load the player. So if you're doing mobile VR, it's quite difficult. So that is the VR born character, whereas if you compare it to mine, which is split up, so it would in total add more memory size. Uh, characters, and then let's use the base VR character 1, which is our first player character. We've got size map, and then memory size as well. You can see that it's only 2.4 megabytes. So by splitting the blueprint up, we can be in control of when we load different actors into it and what's loaded into the scene. So in this case, it's obviously going to load our character, and then it's going to load our hands, which are this one. So size map, the right hand is 4.8 megabytes, and a large portion of that is normally the textures, but I've reduced those down. And then size map as well. So you can see that is, those classes are different. I need to remake that right hand. I don't know if that would fix it. But yeah, you can see that just by switching out the references and controlling how you spawn stuff in can make a big difference. And you can also see how it loads the VR teleportation, which also takes up memory. Whereas you could split these into their own blueprint and then control what loads in. So you've got that, and then what was a good one? Pistol size map, 30 megs, like 30 megabytes for just loading a pistol into a game. It's pretty brutal. So just like to keep that in mind. Like for if I go into the weapons again, my manual weapons class are the most detailed ones, so they'll have the largest file size. But if I go into here, you'll see that it's only like 11.3 megabytes because I'm loading particle effects in at runtime. So I'm using soft references to load those through async. So when you pick up the gun, only then does it load the content. But yeah. What have I missed? Yes, been implemented before the motion controls are spawned separately. Note, is there a particular reason for trying to make a game as small as possible, or is it just for the challenge? No, it's 100% required. Because we're targeting mobile VR, we don't have the power of a graphics card or like an i9 CPU or whatever. So we're basically trying to run it on a mobile. So the faster you can get content to load in, the faster you can get it to basically load in. So the smaller the file size, faster it's going to load. And then that's where the key element comes into play with the Quest, because there's only so much RAM available to us to use. And it's typically in the 4 to 6 gig range, which is considerably less than like the standard 16 or 32 gig you would have with a like desktop hardware. So basically, we're trying to make it run on a mobile phone and make it look as good as possible. So the smaller the file size for the blueprints, the more freedom we have in other areas. It's not taken up by just useless performance. It's also easier to manage individual files than it is to handle one extra large one. Neil, FX, all to do with optimization for standalone VR, more resources, memory to do cool things equals more FPS. By load times, okay, just, yep. I should have just carried on reading. Fair enough. Neil, it may be tricky to set up / get used to, but it makes changing code in the future easier to do. Yes. Although I did kind of screw myself over with the GDXR template for the way the hands are built. So that is something that I've learned from building this game already, is that I need to sort those out and fix the logic for that to make it easier for people to use and update, which I've got on my list of things to do. But now we need to figure out why the left hand is a different blueprint to the right hand. So to make it easier, I'm just going to force delete it. So I'm going to delete the right hand, and then we're going to change that over. We'll see if that fixes things. But yeah, it is tricky to set up, and it is tricky to understand and use, especially when the default template comes from Epic and you assume that it's already like crazy optimized. But it's more optimized for desktop VR than it is for mobile, even though it works on both. Don't worry, I'm not drinking alcohol. Oh, duplicate skeletal hand underscore right. Fail to revert package. Okay, wait, that file. So bit of a tangent on optimization and file sizes and stuff, but hopefully it helped. Let's validate this and make sure phone's right. Patreon missed calls. So how is everybody else doing? You doing all right? Anybody working on anything fun? Let's see. This fixes it. See, the problem with this version that I've got is it's now going to be 4 actors that it needs to load. Well, 1 actor for each hand, and then for the male and female. So if I do the male, it's going to be left and right, which is going to have its own actors, left actor, right actor. And then for the female, it's going to have left actor and right actor. So there's now 4 classes, 4 actors I need to kind of load in. But if I do soft references, I can load those in. I don't have to worry about it, which should be fine. And then, where are we? Motion controls, hands, single hand. This is my new one. We know this one's working, so that's fine. That's switching out left hand. Don't need that one, I don't think. So I'm going to delete that now. Compile. Right. So that's the left hand. Duplicate, skeletal hand. Right. Fail to revert package, which was marked for delete. That doesn't work. Let's do that, see if that helps. There we go. Just needed to delete the reference. And then we say get right hand skin tone for you. Right hand parameter. I'll save. Save all. And we need to make sure that our player our main menu loads in. And then we set the game mode or the base main menu class so it spawns the right hand. Skeletal hand right should be the right controller. skeletal hand left. I think that should be okay. Probably not going to work. No, my luck, it won't. That is also not the correct one. Oh, I'm not got a right hand. That's going to be because I didn't set up the correct stuff. Skeletal hand right needs what have I got left? Hands to use should be ignored. It shouldn't be overriding anything. Left. And then we're in the right hand, so we need to make sure skeletal hand right. Not mirrored. It's going to be the default. Motion controller needs to be set to right as well because this is the right hand. Widget index finger. This needs to be set to, I can't remember. Value of 3. Then I need to set the widget interaction right to value 1. Cool. So to compile, save all. Hopefully that should be correct because the skeletal hand is set by the parent, if I remember correctly. Yep, here. Wonder if I've screwed it with that. Oh, it's got a hammer. I'm not going to touch that. Let's see what happens. So it's loading up the right one. Loading up the 2 different hands. Skeleton hand and master. That's the wrong one. This is what happens when you duplicate files and it gets confusing. The problem is this. This is the problem. I'm trying to set up the male hands and left hands, but this isn't what I need. Need to change how it loads in. So for now, what I could do is I could set it manually. That's the problem. Oh, I missed. They're using perf force, that's why. I'm using GitHub. I've gone down the WebXR rabbit hole. I wouldn't even touch WebXR. Sidestepping APKs altogether, it's a bit limited, but I don't mind. See, that's where file sizes, like managing file sizes to be small as possible, is crucial if you're going to do something like that. It needs to be as small as possible so it loads as fast as possible. But pixel streaming kind of sucks in a way. Pixel streaming and then WebXR is not the same thing also. So you need to keep that in mind. Big stream is awesome, but it's expensive. I'd rather just build desktop VR unless I had clients who are going to pay for the cloud computing. Yeah, exactly. And the hosting as well. I actually sorted out a proposal for a client beginning or end of last week, and we were discussing pixel streaming, and they actually turned down the project because we could only stream it to one person at a time, and it was going to cost so much money to host multiple streams, it wasn't worth doing, which makes complete sense. Character settings, use mail hands. If that is true, then we want to use leave this for now. I'm going to need this bit. Use mail hands is true. Then we need to check whether we are left or right-handed. True, it's the right hand. So Manny. Manny XR right. False, it's Manny XR left. And then we do the same thing here. And if it's female, we do. So we got that. That would be. We do the same thing. And the false. XR left. Two ends. Do that right. What is wrong with me today? Queen right, queen left. Okay. And then that should feed through to each one of these, hopefully. And because they're soft references, it'd still be pretty low. Cool. Right. Hopefully, we've got something that looks relatively good. Still not. They are loading in. Look, you have to look into WebXR. I don't know how to do it in Unreal. You can't do WebXR in Unreal. It's not supported. There used to be a version of Unreal that you could download from source, so through GitHub, which had WebXR built into it. But I don't know if there's a Unreal Engine 5 version of it. I think it was like an Unreal Engine 4.27, which also had it. Neil, pixel streaming is awesome, but it's expensive. I'll just build desktop VR unless yeah, I've already read that. Kasebi F. Hopefully I said that right. Hi, first of all, I want to thank you for making the world of VR development understandable back in 2021. I've been following you for a long time and just recently subscribed as soon as I was able to. Awesome, thank you so much. It helps so much. You got no idea. I'm starting a new VR project. I was excited to try a plugin. Is there a specific reason why you haven't updated to 5.6 yet? Just asking out of curiosity. Thanks a lot. I updated 5.6 yesterday and I submitted the build yesterday. I just haven't heard back from Epic, so it might take a day or two, but the 5.6 build should be on its way. Like, this is wait, that's got product reference numbers. I submitted it 22 hours ago. If you own the template through Patreon, it will already be available to you. So you'll be able to download 5.6 in there and an updated version of 5.5 as well. So it is on the way. It just took a little bit. Been super busy. There's also HTML5 export option ages ago, wasn't there? Yes, Unreal had it originally in 4. It was in there for quite a while, and I think it just got out of hand, so they just scrapped the whole lot. Which is a little bit of a pain, but what can we do? Use male hands. True. It goes through. It does this. Shouldn't make a difference. If it's the right hand, true, we load manual right hand. If it's false, we load the left hand. Right hand, left hand. That's the master. And then skeleton hand left, we don't actually load any of that in. Oh, it's fudge. Um, fudge. Wait there, I think I know what the problem is. Right, I'm gonna be bad. I'm just gonna name these afterwards. Let me see if this works and I'll explain what the problem was. Pretty sure this is going to be it. So make sure that's disconnected. Just forgetting the hands to load up left and right. Still doing it. Hey. Right hand. Through. Feel like it's overriding something. Loading the left. That's the one we should be reading. It's set to right hand. Not mirror, but I think it's defaulting. Because it's the right hand, I could actually just go through and just say male right win. Try this. And then this is the left hand. So if we say it's the hand right, it's true. What? What? I was confident that was going to work. Didn't load at all. What the flying fuck is happening? Can't tell if it's actually loading. I don't know what I've done. Debbie, oh my god, thanks. No worries. No worries. I'm sorry it's late. It is loading left and right hand. So it's something to do with this that's loading the wrong one. EXR right. It shouldn't be overriding it. I think it's something to do with this. If I set this to right, let's see this now map to the right hand. No. How did I break this so badly? How long have we been going? An hour and 40 minutes and we're still doing the hands. It's loading in the wrong hands. The right hand. That one hand right. Do get it. It's saying it's the right hand. Only loading the left one. This is, I feel like I'm going around in circles now. It's the one I've just changed, isn't it? Yeah, and it's still wrong. You know how I've got it so messed up? We had it work. Input mapping context hand right. Input mapping context hand left. So we are loading each one. We don't need that. So we load the actors, we attach it to the hand. When the hand is activated, spawned in, it checks to see if we're using the male hands, and if that's true, the left hand. It, it feels like it's been overridden somewhere, and I don't know if it's because of the parent class. Left. That keeps changing. Why did that change? Yeah, origin hand right and left. Skeletal hand left and skeletal hand right. So it's loading the correct hands. Don't know why it's not using this. What the hell is going on? What did, oh, you kidding me. Oh, that's part of the problem. Controls on hand, single hand. And I'll dig in. What's up, my good chum? Not much. I'm pulling my hair out. Um, trying to figure out why my blueprint is switching the hand round to be the wrong one. Right, that's controllers. That's fine. Hand rotation shouldn't make a difference. Let me check. This is my old one, which was a nightmare. Wait there. God. What a waste of complete time. It was the right hand. What a complete waste of time. I'm so stupid for that. So stupid. Right, so we did all of that, and we're back to the beginning. But we got both of them loaded in. So the question is, why is it only using the right one? Which means if I duplicated it, chances are this is doing the wrong one, or something's overriding it. Something's overriding the color selection in the thing. Now I'm wondering whether at this point it's the menu that's the problem. These, because they're a bit of a hassle to set up. Left, right. So we get the skin tone. Let's see if we're getting different ones. Right hand, left hand. Also skin tone. Oh, unpressed. Left hand, right hand. That's fine. Call skin tone left hand. That be this one, which we fire here. Feels like it's updating way too much, which it should only do once. Don't crash. Oh, excellent. What's worse is I already had it working. It's because I changed it. That's the character. Full motion control visualization. Update hands and controllers. It should only happen once. Something's causing it to trigger multiple times. I don't know whether it's... The only thing I've changed is the hands, so let's have a look at those first. Via deduction, which is going to be original single. This we've got here, trigger, press pointer key. Now it's only firing once. That's great. That was down to this being on the wrong thing. I need to tidy this up. Okay, so that fixes the click firing multiple times. Doesn't reset afterwards. I can fix that after the fact. And now it's a case of figuring out why updating both. So I click skill and left. It's doing both. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I'm really sorry. Trying to talk to myself enough that I can figure out what's going on with it. Something to do with this call update and motion controllers. What I could do is we've got this. Let's see if I do a check. get hand equal left be true. You know, when you're doing something and you don't think it's going to work. Both of these are firing. Both of them still? Yeah. Updating both. It's updating both. But that should be fine. It should only pull in the one color. While digging, there used to be an export option for HTML5 from UE5. Not UE5. I know there was one for Unreal Engine 4. What the hell is going on? We update hands and controllers, we listen to it. If we're the left hand, in this case we are, we go through and we get the left hand skin tone and we update it and we set it to the left hand skin color. Question is, why is it doing it? Why is it setting both to the same value? That'd be real nice. I keep getting these requests to put game inside of. I keep explaining it's not possible, as far as I know. Yeah, I've had it as well the last couple of weeks. Quite a few people trying to figure out whether you can do it, and I'm just like, no. Left. That's gonna be the wrong one. It was all working. Oh, what have I done? You do the right hand, it should fire this node. That's this one, right hand. So it's setting the tone, and then let's have a look at this. Let's see if it says. So it fires only once. Alt update hands and controllers. That's fine. One's firing left and right. Hope this works. Keep getting these requests, and I keep explaining that's not possible as far as I know. Yeah. Damn. So if I've lost anything there. Just the right hand's not setting the correct input. So why is the right hand listening to the information that's in the left hand? Wait, what the? This is pointless. This isn't doing anything. Now I'm more confused. Something somewhere is setting hand color. Not in here. So it's not the master. Something in the menu? This handles the logic for the hands. Set skin tone, left, right. You ever get to the point where you want to throw your computer out the window? That's pretty much where I'm at. So it's setting it nearly every day. Oh yeah. Update controls and hands. Fine. That's usually the point where I get up and take a walk around the block. Yep. Yeah. I know it's firing once, and it worked on my other hands. It's because I've rebuilt them, that's the problem. So it's just basically messed it all up. But the question is, why is it firing twice? It's got to be something to do with the update hands and controllers. That game instance contains it. It also listens here, so it updates hands and controllers, spawns controller visualization, does this one, and then it runs through and does the hands. So every time I click the button, we're spawning a brand new set of hands. Fuck. Right. The only thing I changed from this was the VR game instance, Control C, get hands to use. This one, I changed that. That would keep the reference. Let's see if I can fix my shit. Right, where is it? Character settings, not game instance. Left hand to use. try that. Hand to use, right hand to use. And then in here, I have this one. So masculine set right hand to use, left hand to use, and then right hand to use. We don't have our feminine hands to start with press the button by default. Let's see what happens. Oh, deep. Left hand. I just don't understand why it's not reading the color. I hope that one was plugged in. I also don't know why I've got an event tick. Set effective parameter hand, skin color doesn't likely due to blueprint error. You're so helpful. I'm losing it. I'm absolutely fucking losing it. This logic is only in here. So the master, and then we've got the child's, which should listen to the correct skin tone color. But the problem is they're not setting the correct one. I shouldn't be setting the color. I should be setting material. Was it? Okay. Left hand's doing it. Right hand's not doing it. So, right, okay. Um, that's because it's not plugged in. Is that it? We done it. Yeah, no. Left hand, right hand, in tone right, aerial, money right, should, skin tone. I don't know why I've got that tick all of a sudden. Can't remember where I put it. Which one? Left is working. Left. We've got left. Did you bedazzle your headset? Oh, can you not see? I put googly eyes on it. Started to jazz it up a little bit. Awesome. Like it wasn't much. Stole some of my daughter's googly eyes. UMG settings menu widgets. That's the wrong one. Place. Right hand. That's definitely needed. Right. I plan to do that on my work one as well. Like, it wasn't for much. It was just for a bit of fun. Invalid parameter name. Skin tone Java. Java. Should be fine. Just the right one. Why is it not being set? We know it should work. It was working previously. That's fine. That's skin tone. We go through. Tone, and then they listen to this. EP skeletal hand visualization. Main menu master. At lunch. Build with hands. Thank you. Wait, why is that running? Skeletal hands visualization. We're not using those. Skeletal hand visualization. Okay. Right, neither of those work. So that is to do with hand right and hand left. So it's the save file. Yes! We did it. The save file. So what was happening is the save file was loading the old hands back in, and then it was overriding the ones that we were setting. So the save file was the main problem. But now that's been sorted. The hands are switching. The problem is we don't have male and female hands. I don't think that is switching. No. And that'll be because we don't have them. So what we need to do is right hand running point XR. Let's do this. When Manny. See if that's getting called to update. Why is it changed our hands back? Is it? Widget blueprint, main menu widget. Why is that loaded back in? What have I got overriding it? Something's wrong with the save game. As soon as I switch, it boots up the other hands. I want to delete those because I'm not too sure why they're overriding. Skeleton hand left, skeleton hand right. As soon as I hit update, in the main menu, where are you? Yeah, that's why. Do we actually need that? Yeah, because it's read through. Don't know if I need that. Let's default into these. There we go. Right. So we do that. What I need to do is gameplay tag. Use male hands. Remove. Use male hands. So if we're feminine, we remove the tag. If we're true, do that one. And we do it this way because the hands are actually done via the skeletal mesh instead here. Save. There we go. I have no idea what's going to happen here. I'm in the ground. That's usually the wrong ones because that character's not set up correctly. Right. So we've got a way to switch back and forth, and we know which ones it is, male or female hands. So then we save that in the player. Where's my maps folder? And this is because we modified it. So what I need to do is straight to there and make it match my main. So we've got a sequence to there. Sync load hands true. Got a feeling I could probably improve this because I don't think we changed this reference actually from left to right hand. It's handled by the hand now itself. So I'll need to check that, see if it works. I'm also not too sure why I'm suddenly spawning in the floor. But what we'll do is we will test this one. And then we'll call it. So splash screen, which we can see on this window. Game, and I can change the hands like so, and we can go from masculine, feminine, change those, and then we can create our character. Loads in. Right, we got the correct height, that's good. And then we load in, do our screen fades, we start, and we're still using the wrong one, so only the left hand that's spawning in. Good. Should just work. Let's try this. I need to build in a skip button so I can just skip straight out for this. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there because we at least got the main menu stuff working, and then I can investigate what's going on with the hands on the other player and see if I can get that sorted. Cool. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for dropping by. But I'm going to call it there. I'm going to head off. I hope everyone